So what's so good about these bikes? I've ridden 26ers, we have a few in the garage. I've ridden 29ers, and now I've been riding these 650b bikes for the past 2 months, and they're really good. Why they're good? You really have the advantage of the bigger wheel size. In the old days, the tires were so small that it was kind of negating that 40% advantage. But now that the tires are huge or are available, you can really see that it's better bump rolling ability, better climbing traction, better braking traction, better cornering traction. But, and this is what you need to remember in this whole video, is they ride like 26ers. Unlike 29ers, where it takes, when you get on a full suspension 29er, a high travel one, it takes a while to get used to. This one almost takes no getting used to. If I gave 5 people a blind test and let them ride these bikes, they might not even know they're on a 650b bike. There's no transition period, so to speak. But they'll feel it's more stable, they feel it's more capable. So how are they different and how are they the same? The best climbers of the group are the Intense Carbine and the Tracer 275. And the reason I say that, if you're familiar with the Santa Cruz line of bikes, the VPP, these license those designs, and these are basically blurs before Santa Cruz actually comes out with a 650b blur. So this is kind of your peak at that window. So the chain tension stiffens the rear end, so it gives you a lot of power transmission when you're climbing. In fact, these shocks are called the CTD, Climb Trail Descent shocks, and often we leave it on trail, which is the most all-around one, and climb if you're on a steep one. Where you really need the climb mode is when you're climbing out a saddle or on pavement. But on these 2 VPP bikes, you just leave it wide open. It's fine. You're not as dependent on the rear shock to give you a platform. You know, the bike itself gives you a platform. So the best climbers are there. An interesting climber is the Scott Genius. So what it does is it has a configurable front and rear. Aside from the talus, you can actually adjust the mode on the shock. You click it once, front and rear get a stable platform, and you click it another time, and front and rear are pretty much on platform, almost locked out mode. Click the silver lever, you can go back to the middle or back home free. So really amazing feature on this bike. And you can do talus if you want your front end lower. You can drop that down, you know, drive more of that power into your pedals. So that's the Scott 720. The Foes is the beefiest of the group, the plushest, as Greg calls it, but it's also probably the most difficult to climb. But that being said, these bikes are so advanced. This rear shock, the CTD, is so awesome that you can actually climb with this pretty good, out of saddle, everything. The Norco is interesting. It uses the FSR design, and because they lower the pivot here, it actually stiffens up. It provides a very good platform, even better than the Specialized bikes I've used, and it still remains active. So this is a pretty amazing bike, a pretty amazing climber. For pure descending, we'd probably vote for the Foes 275. The rear end is so stiff, so stable, and it's plush. So it's just confidence inspiring. Doing drops, you just get lazy. You don't have to do much. The other favorite, the Intenses, ride very similar to each other. They have different geometries. The Carbine has a higher bottom bracket, shorter wheelbase for the same size bike. So it's a little strange that they're different, but they ride fairly similar. Very good all-around bikes. A favorite of mine would be the Norco. The Norco, low to the ground, short wheelbase, very low bottom bracket. So the lowest bottom bracket of the whole group is the Foes. I believe it's a 13.1 and unsagged. This one is about 13.3. So that is the key thing with a 650b bike, is to get the bottom bracket correct. What's happening in the last year is people, because things are not available, people are just converting their bikes. They're converting their whatever, their Mojos, their Giants, and putting big wheels on it. But what happens is you raise the bottom bracket, and it kind of works, but you prop yourself off half an inch, and that's a little bit of a problem. So the Norco is an amazing bike, easy to handle, very fun to play with, probably the most playful bike here. With 140 fork or 160 fork, works really well. So there you go. There's going to be a lot more detail on each bike. We'll make a video on each bike, a lot of photos, so check in with those. And one thing I'll say with this roundup is this is just the opening shot. By Sea Otter, my prediction for 2013 is by Sea Otter, you're going to see a lot more bikes in this category. You know, as I said, it takes a big company a while to do a new wheel size, to do a whole new platform. An Intense can do it in a couple months, but a big company takes usually a couple years. So a lot of people have been working over the holidays just to get you these 650b bikes. So by Sea Otter, we're going to have, I predict, 5, maybe 10 big brand 650b bikes. And we'll keep updating this shootout, this roundup, as we see. But stay tuned, read and view the videos on each bike. We're in an exciting time. As exciting as 29er was a couple years back, this is a whole new playground of fun bikes, fun all mountain bikes that's going to really help you enjoy your mountain biking experience. Thank you.